Alfie and Nana at breakfast. Thanks for joining us. You might be chomping through your delicious bowl of Cocoa Pops right now. You might be having toast with some deep shred marmalade. Nice and tasty.
How would you feel if you couldn't taste it, though?
Yeah. Altered eating. We've been talking about this morning. Something I hadn't heard of, but I was aware of why it's needed, because Danny Baker, famous for Daz adverts and radio and telly, TFI Friday and stuff like that, he had throat cancer and talked quite a bit about his taste buds being destroyed and having to give his wine away. He loved wine. It was one of his real pleasures in life.
Yeah.
A pal of mine has been having chemotherapy lately, and he said even tea and coffee tasted disgusting. He loved a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Even tea and coffee tasted horrible. So you've got to realign your taste buds.
Because, of course, you need the food, don't you, for nutrition. Well, it's when people need to help to re-engage with the pleasure of food after changes caused by things like illnesses or cancer treatment, altered eating is possibly what they go to. Now, a foundation has been set up right here in the Northeast, and it's called simply Altered Eating. And Chef Sam Story from Whitley Bay has been running food play workshops to help people just like Val Bryant from Sunderland.
I was diagnosed in 2009 with throat cancer. At first, I lost my sense of taste. Now it's more or less back. But the spices just absolutely kill me. In 2012, we went to a lovely Indian restaurant and I was very excited about going, and I only had a little bit of a poppadom, and straight away the pain, I was dancing around. I could not sit still. I had to go out to the toilets because I just had to be walking around, and I was so disappointed. Curry was my favourite. Right from the first day I tasted it, it was just, this is wonderful. And that's what I miss most of all, I would say.
So that's a good summary of the sensations. Well, we learnt a lot more when we spoke to Chef Sam Story, who helped Val, along with Dr. Dacre Burgess-Watson, who's been researching altered eating for 8 years for Newcastle Uni. And this is a fascinating conversation.
Well, basically, we coined the phrase because we wanted something that was a bit more positive than saying that this is not a normal situation. So altered eating is really a changed relationship with food, and it often involves the loss of joy and pleasure around food. So it can happen for any reason.
Yeah, because
really.
people get upset if they get a cold and they can't taste something like,
Yeah.
But, imagine if it was like that for a good long while. It would be really, really devastating.
That's right.
Who does it affect then? What kind of patients does it affect?
Well, our list of people with altered eating grows ever longer. We keep discovering new groups and going, oh my gosh, I didn't realise that taste and flavour and enjoyment of food change with that. But we're working at the moment with something called Sjogren's syndrome, Parkinson's disease, obviously things like dementia, any kind of neurological issue.
Yeah.
We obviously started with cancer. But, even you had the news story on just a minute ago about more young people taking antidepressants.
Yes.
And, of course, a lot of those commonly prescribed drugs can actually lead to a changed flavour perception and therefore a reduced enjoyment of food. So,
And it can mean sometimes you overcompensate with other foods, sugarier foods or more savoury foods, greasy foods that feel nice in the mouth, things like that.
So it could have long-term health implications.
Indeed,
That's right, yeah.
I mean, we started with people who'd had head and neck cancer in a way because they really demonstrate a lot of the worst problems that one can face. Your salivary glands are fried or parts of your anatomy removed, so your swallow reflex can just be gone, really.
So
it
it
can
isn't
be
just
irradiated and things like that. So
it's not just taste, is it, and smell? It's actual
the ability
mechanics.
to swallow, the mechanics of swallowing, the mechanics of moving the food around your mouth into something
So
that can be
it's very
swallowed.
complicated.
It's very complicated,
So we talk a lot about the idea of what in the scientific literature they talk about multimodal flavour perception, which means there's a whole lot of different things coming in that give us that enjoyment of food, from smell to taste to something called the trigeminal nerve, which Val was talking about, that when she eats a curry, she nearly hits the roof with it because it stimulates this little nerve that we have, which is what we experience spiciness with. Or,
if you
ever have a minty,
if you have a
minty and it feels really cold in your mouth, that's your trigeminal nerve
Oh, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Trigeminal nerve. We'll
Yeah.
have to remember that.
Yeah, we'll try that one out. Yeah.
Well, what have we got in front of us? So just explain to us what we've got and what you want us to do.
Okay. Right. What was that statement that you said? A second-class ticket to Nottingham?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Second-class ticket to
Yeah.
Nottingham, please.
So you've got a nose clip, and the first thing we're going to do is get you to put the nose clip on and say a second-class ticket to Nottingham.
From the old tunes advert.
Yeah.
Welcome, Vic's Side Expert at first class ticket to Nottingham.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not as rich
Okay.
as second-class ticket to Nottingham, please.
Yes, okay, good. You've got the nose clip on, so now you have to take a skittle. Now you can take any colour you like. What I want you to do is put it in your mouth and chew for a little bit.
Can I see what colour it is, or can I? Or...
You can if you want,
I
doesn't
know.
matter, but just chew. Now take your nose clip off and breathe in through your nose.
Oh, straight away orange.
Oh, yeah.
Do you get that?
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
totally.
lemony, yeah.
So when you're just chewing with the nose clip on, all you can experience is the taste, what's happening on your tongue, which is the sweetness. But when you breathe in is when you get the full experience of the flavour,
It's totally different.
isn't it?
Yeah.
The nose is doing most of the heavy lifting with regards to your tongue, salt, sweet, bitter, sour, and your umami does 5 tastes, but your nose is capable of recognising hundreds of thousands of volatile compounds, and that's what fills in all the gaps and tells you what's happening, really.
Yeah.
So smell. Some people say it's 80% of our experience of food flavour. You can take the nose clip off now,
Yeah,
actually.
right.
Used to it.
It did suit you, though.
Yeah, it's about 80% of our experience of flavour comes from smells and volatile
Yeah.
compounds. So the second test we've got here, there's a group of researchers in Germany led by this guy, Professor Hummel, and we've been working a bit with him and with other people who are doing something called smell training, because our sense of smell and the little spot up between our eyes is where our olfactory bulb is, and that little olfactory bulb is what gives us and governs our experience of smell, and we can improve its functioning by sniffing things.
By using it.
I
Yes.
hope you're appreciating this, BBC Newcastle. This is
Absolutely fascinated.
Carry on.
Yeah, carry on. So what Professor Hummel did was he said, well, we're going to do smell training with different groups, and we're going to see if it works to improve the size of the olfactory bulb, and amazingly it does. So they've found a link between depression and the ability to smell, and vice versa. So if your olfactory bulb isn't working very well, you tend to get depressed. If it starts working better, you tend to get a bit happier. So it's really good for mood. So these 4 jars contain different smells, and they're all numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you both open the number 1 jar, I'm going to have to look at the bottom.
No nose peg needed now.
No nose peg, and
we-
just
Good sniff.
we wanna
just
work
have a good
nose this
sniff
time.
and see if you can recognise what it is. I'm going to do the same.
Lemon. Lemon. I'm going to. I mind. I sniff everything. I'm quite a sniffer.
Oh, you're a
It's
sniffer,
good
good.
because
I'm not a great
it's
sniffer.
a muscle.
You're not a great
you
sniffer.
get stronger
Yeah,
the more
yeah.
you sniff. Yeah.
It's been said.
Now you've said lemon, I'll go lemon. Yeah.
Try number 2.
Alfie's turn
Here
first
we
this
go.
time.
I've got to have a look too.
Oh, that's Vicks.
No,
Is that right?
Well, very close. Very close.
Eucalyptus.
That's exactly
Eucalyptus.
right.
There you go.
Yep.
I love the smell of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's interesting, you just mentioned about mood. So when people say, oh, if you're smelling certain things, it can change your mood, like,
Yeah.
you kind of calming oils and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's genuine then.
Yeah, I mean, there's different smells. It's also very cultural. So in
Yeah.
different cultures, different smells
Yeah.
are appreciated.
Yeah.
So everybody has a different kind of smell world and
Yeah.
what they like.
The olfactory bulb is the only one of our senses that's directly plugged into our emotional cortexes. It kind of has an immediate link to your reptilian cortex at the back of your brain.
We
Yeah.
need a little pinger at that
Sorry.
pause every time you give us a brilliant
Really?
fact. Things
Yeah.
are
Oh,
great.
thank you.
Yeah.
But it bypasses you. It bypasses your kind of reasoning centre,
Yeah.
so your smell can just transport you straight back to a place and time, and it has an emotional. I can when I smell. The nice flowery old lady scent.
Lily of the Valley.
Lily of the Valley. That's
Yes.
my nan used to wear Lily of the
So
Valley,
it's
and
a
I'm
memory,
just
triggers a
transported.
memory.
Yeah, transported back to being a
You're
kid.
listening to Dr. Dacre and Chef Sam on BBC Newcastle Radio for the North East, taking us through a smell test. We're up to number 3.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
for 3.
Yeah.
Go for 3.
It's not lavender. It's
No, that's
Close.
Rose?
Yes,
Yeah.
well
Hey,
done.
I would never have
Rose.
got that.
Yeah.
You'd never have got that one? No,
Yeah.
that's a
I love
really
perfumes and
old-fashioned...
things.
It's a really old-fashioned rose smell, that one.
Yeah, it is,
You
it
know,
is. Again,
yeah.
that's like an older lady smell. It's a lovely smell.
It is.
Anna's got a very old-fashioned nose.
I have got quite a good nose, though, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a wonky nostril, but quite a good nose.
Okay, try the fourth one.
Right.
Last one. This one's a bit harder. You might find this tricky.
Oh, it's so again something a bit medical, like mothballs, but not mothballs.
Oh, that's close.
Think of the dentist.
Oh yeah, the dentist. Oh, all dentists.
Old
Old
dentist.
dentists, yeah. Or mothers giving you things to chew when you had toothache.
Oh, what do you call it?
Yes.
Yes, why can't it? But it's not coming.
Clove
Do you know
oil.
clove oil?
Clove
You know,
oil.
it's
Yes.
very
Cloves.
Yeah, it's
it
close,
is,
yeah.
and it's very difficult. Interestingly, to make that link. So you smell something and you know what it is,
Yeah.
but to cognitively be able to say, it's whatever, takes practice.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, like my flatmate and I have been doing smell training for ages now, and we have little jars, and every morning we pop out and we have like hundreds of
sniff.
different jars. Have a sniff. It's great. It's good fun.
Some people go for a jog, you know. You do sniffing jars.
We sniff jars in the
We're
morning.
not
and
weird, honestly.
We've got better at it. So I can pick up a jar now and immediately I go, oh, yeah, that's so obvious.
I wish we had longer to talk to you because
Brilliant.
this is so
Very
fascinating.
interesting.
And if people are listening who are or members of their family are going through treatments, there is hope for them.
Yes.
Dr. Dacre, Chef Sam, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll chat again.
Yeah. It's just fascinating that it can have an effect on your mood as well, I think.
And we've tweeted a picture at BBC Newcastle of us with nose clips on and
Yes.
Skittles and
it's at
smells.
Altered Eating on Twitter, so you can have a look there.
Alfie and Anna at breakfast. Coming next, the answer to your 10-2 teaser.
Okay, so
Reprise.
the question